Midjourney Inpainting, it's finally here. However, I've scouted the web and compiled several tips and tricks that I haven't seen anywhere else, so I would advise you to watch this first. Let's quickly head over to Discord and check things out. So, the new feature from Midjourney is this very region button. However, to use it, you first need to upscale your image. But then, once you press it, it may look something like this, and you actually don't have a prompt. But don't worry, there's a quick solution to that. You just write settings and activate remix mode. And once you enter again, wow, a prompt. Amazing. But now to the inpainting, because this image is clearly disappointing. Not because of the claws and the mutated fingers, but because of her. Because she's not a bear. But let's calm ourselves down by having a look at the interface. Over here we have the masking tool, spinning the rectangle and lasso selections. Here is the text prompt, and here you submit the job. You can undo your selections by pressing the undo button, but a much quicker way is to just right click with your mouse and it disappears. Now let's inpaint, and we shall try 3 levels of difficulties. We will start very simple, by just inpainting a top hat on this bear. Then we will increase the difficulty by giving her a bear face. And lastly, we will look at consistent characters. So you can see, just adding the top hat elegant prompt gives quite good results. Nice. But it seems that Midjourney's contextual awareness thinks a top hat on a bear is out of place. But I can assure you it's not. Anyway, this worked, so 1 down and 2 to go. Now, let's replace that filthy human face. And just as an example, we try furry bear face. Beautiful. But now we encountered an issue, where Midjourney's contextual awareness essentially overrides our prompt, meaning we end up with something that fits our image, but it's not what we want to have. So how do we solve this? Looking at Midjourney's documentation, we can see that the inpainting prompt actually supports the no parameter and the image weight parameter. This is quite big. Also note that the no parameter is equivalent to a weighting of -1. So as a first step, let's try to adjust the weights. So we write bear :3 for weighting and human female man :-2, since that's exactly what we got and what we don't want. Now we see the results are still bad. We get some boys and some men, but at least we get 1 bear face, which tells us that our prompt and weighting did something, because we're also not seeing any female faces anymore. Of course, we're not satisfied with this, so let's look at image weighting. And just like me, I assume you have a plethora of bear portraits at your disposal, so let's grab 1 of those. We copy the link, go back to the inpainting prompt, and we paste it, while also using an image weighting of 2. Note that some guides have mistakenly said that this image prompting doesn't work, but it certainly does. And we will see here that it sometimes can be quite powerful. Looking at the results, we see that we have bear faces. Beautiful! Oh man, this is exciting. Finally, bears can be Instagram models too. Clearly, every seed does not end up perfect, since we have some headless nightmare fuel, but the results are certainly more aligned with our prompt. The takeaway is that you can use an image reference with a high image weighting to override Midjourney's contextual awareness. However, it also goes at the expense of fitting with the image. So by doing this, you may get results that appear misplaced, with for instance lighting issues or shading artifacts. Anyway, let's continue to the final part, consistent characters. And here I shall upgrade an Instagram model with my own beautiful face. Now you know the drill, so let's copy the link and go into Inpainting. We select her face with the lasso tool, and if you try to submit the job only with an image reference, you will see that it doesn't work. We have to type a small prompt also. So let's write bear face teddy bear. And looking at the results, we see some expressive bears, kind of looking like me. The top left one is a beauty, but for some reason I guess I don't have eyebrows anymore. Either way, I would consider this as somewhat of a success, since this is what you get without an image reference in your prompt. Also, if you reduce the image weighting, the character consistency decreases, as you can see here using an image weighting of 1 instead of 2. Moreover, here is a quick look at some other examples where I have put my face on a police officer and on a doctor. And while it's not perfect, it's certainly a major upgrade from what we had before in Midjourney. However, it's not a replacement to, for instance, Automatic 1111, as there you can have control of weighting in your inpainting, while the inpainted region in Midjourney currently always seems to have the weighting of 0. Another tip is that if you pan your image and increase its pixel count, then after upscaling you don't have the vary region option. But there is also a quick fix to that. Simply press custom zoom and write --zoom 1 and make sure to maintain the aspect ratio if you want to. And when upscaling the result of that job, you will see that you again have the vary region option. This is because using zoom rescales the resolution back to around 1 megapixel, which seems to be what Midjourney's Inpainting model currently only has support for. Now, it's always good to look at what the Midjourney team say themselves. They recommend selections to be 20 to 50% of the image. It's not a magic fix. It works best if it's a change that's matched to the image, and sometimes it can be quite frustrating as the system may fight your intent. They also say that prompts should focus on what you want to happen in the selected area, and also the bot considers the existing image when generating a selected area, so shorter focused prompts are often more effective. Supported versions are only 5, 5.1, 5.2 and Niji 5. Lastly, I want to mention a great advantage of Midjourney's Inpainting feature in comparison to, for instance, Automatic 1111, and it's that you can use it remotely. And actually, if you try it in the Discord app on your phone, you will see that the controls work surprisingly well. It's easy to handle selections, write the prompt and submit the job. So yeah, try it out. So all in all, it's a fantastic tool, especially as Midjourney's first Inpainting release. But remember, it's not a replacer to Automatic 1111. Alright, that's all for me and my furry bear face. Thanks a lot for watching and good luck in painting.